Man, look, it
Get
is.
your coffee.
Hey, it starts in less than 24 hours in Dublin. Rob Browne here on this Friday.
Great show today.
26th. Going to be an awesome show. Greater show than yesterday was Rich Clark and Ken Caps and Matt Dean and all of us. That was incredible. We're going to outdo it today. We'll try. We've got Roman Harper, former Alabama
favorite guest.
All SEC safety.
Gotta say, favorite guest.
Yeah, I got to say, he loved this guy. Best dressed on TV, too. Roman Harper and New Orleans Saints Super Bowl champion. Proud native son, Prattville Lion for life. And we got Frank Duffy, Doug Dean, Brenden Martin, executive producer. I'm Rob Browne up here in Memphis. And we're going to get started. I'm going to tell you what, before we do it, take your phone, take a picture of that QR code, subscribe to our podcast network, SEC Sidelines. It's the host is YouTube, but we're also live on Twitter, a couple of channels there, and Facebook. And then Brenden throughout the day puts a lot of reels out, social media, Instagram, you name it. Look, the hour of power, the best 60 minutes on the SEC. Let's go ahead and get started and welcome aboard from up in Charlotte, Roman Harper. Roman, good morning. Great show last night with you and Dari Noka talking about Tony Barnhart was here Monday at the Touchdown Club in Memphis. We were hanging out in the lobby, Harold Grader and Greg Cotton and all of us, and he kept saying, we're going to 9 because it's the only way to save Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and games like that. Yeah. But that was a great show. You and Dari together, that was fantastic. I love y'all messing with each other. But first off, you are an awesome guy, great dad of 4 kids. Thanks for sharing your time with us. It means more than you know. So let's go.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Rob. I literally just dropped my youngest one off at school, made it back in time. I was very concerned about that, but already got that done. You know, when you're a parent, for me, like I just try and win breakfast. And if I win breakfast, like, it's like, you know, we're just off to a good first quarter. Like, okay, like we're rolling, you know.
I feel that.
Yeah, you just got to win breakfast, bro.
Like, dude, I won breakfast and I got through Carline and she didn't kill me.
Yeah, like it's a good run. Like, all right, now I got a little momentum going. So, I got to get a workout in, and then I got to knock out about a couple hours of work today that I want to get some film and some other things wrapped up today. So it's going to be a good day, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in last night. I love working with Dari Noka. He's hilarious. And, you know, Dari is just like, Dari's so sharp. He's so good. And it allows me to kind of just like, you know what, I'm just going to just be myself. And I've gotten more comfortable with working with more and more of those guys and girls over there at the network. And they just let me be me. So it's all great.
Well, it is, and your observations about, say, Joey Aguilar and watching tape on him and all. Let's get your thoughts. I'm sitting here looking at Lindy's All-SEC team, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, Lenora Sellers. Now, Garrett's got a lot of experience. The other 2 guys, you know, not that much. But let's start with the quarterbacks in the SEC and just the 9 games. I know Doug's got some stuff on that, so let's talk quarterbacks first, then we'll go to Doug.
Okay, I'll talk about the guys that you just brought up. Garrett Nussmeier makes all the NFL throws that you want. Really good pocket presence, but not a great athlete, but is still aware within the pocket. So he kind of keeps himself out of trouble, whether it's stepping up, sliding to his left or to his right, sliding and stepping up and then going from there. But makes all the throws from within the pocket. Really good pocket presence, almost like a Tom Brady-esque pocket presence. The biggest thing with him is that he's got to stop turning the football over. Some bad interceptions that time where he's just forcing the ball. He's so confident. He's almost a little too confident at times. And that also could be, you know, a result of being around terrible defenses since Jaden Daniels was starting in front of him, where the quarterback at LSU just has to go out there and make every play. And so is it a mindset or is it just bad decision making? That will determine where they go this year. I think defensively for LSU, they should be better in second year under Blake Baker naturally. But I still got to see Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks on the field together at the same time. And so I want to see how that kind of plays all the way out. And then Arch Manning, I think Arch is going to be fine. You got Steve Sarkisian, who's a great head coach who really sets things up for offenses. Like he just puts it on the platter, you know, with all the motion, the fakes. He's a really good timely play caller and really kind of helps the quarterbacks make into an easier game for them. And Arch Manning chose this path. He chose to go play under Sarkisian because of the offense, because of the friendliness of Texas, and all the other opportunities that are out there with being the quarterback there. So I believe Arch will be fine. They have to replace some wide receivers. I think their top 3 targets last year from last year's team are all gone. The offensive line they got to replace. Also some interior D linemen as well. You got to replace on the defensive side. Also, the secondary of Texas will be a little bit of concern as, if injuries do occur in the secondary, which I hope they don't. But they lost Jade Barron and the defensive back coach and Andrew Makuba, who was a great safety for him, played really well for them last year. So that's Texas. Then you have Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. He is the reason why everybody is showing love to South Carolina right now. I'm a little bit hesitant because they lost a ton of really good players on defense. And I'm not ready to say, okay, South Carolina is at a point in their program where they can lose guys that were second-round picks, third-round picks, and possible first-round picks in last year's draft and just keep going. I don't know if they've recruited at that type of level where, you can see that happening with Texas. You can imagine that with Alabama, but or Georgia. But I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet with South Carolina. They do have a quarterback, which means you have a quarterback, you got a chance. And Lenore Sellers kid is outstanding. I went back and watched Clemson, South Carolina like 2 days ago and just forgot how good he was down the stretch. Lenore Sellers just put the team on his back multiple weeks and just went out there and made plays happen, from breaking tackles in the pocket to scrambling to just doing his thing. So he was different last year, and everybody expects him to continue to grow. Putting players around him on the offensive side would be very important. And then we'll see who they're at on defense. But this conference is loaded. DJ Lagway is another player. If he's just healthy, he might be the best one out of everybody I just talked about because of his arm strength. His size is second to none. And he's just like, you didn't even know Florida was that good until all of a sudden DJ Lagway was in. And then next you know, like, man, this is a totally different team.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say because you're not around a lot of players, Rob, that are like that, where you literally just put one person in the game and the offense and the defense got better. That's what DJ Lagway was.
Yeah. Doug.
Roman, good to see you, man. Well, when you got a TV gig like you got to work out and look good on air, don't you?
That's
so
right.
good,
I do.
Good
I
for
do.
you. Good for you.
Thank
The
you.
rest of us have a face made for radio. So I don't like this camera shot. Well, what a difference a few years makes. You had Bama and the Saints and elsewhere. You were running through out of the locker room to signage like win the day, play like a champion. Now you're just trying to win breakfast. So I trust you're not giving them frozen waffles. Tell me that you're making it from scratch, right?
Oh, for sure. They actually, my baby boy just wanted toast this morning. So a little bit of cinnamon honey toast with some bread, butter it up pretty good. Get him some orange juice. That's all he wanted this morning. But I did make his lunch, which is pretty stout.
Yeah, I'm in the grandkid phase, and I'm letting it go right now that they just want a carb load with pancakes in the morning. They can figure their diet out later. Listen, Rob and I had the honor of interviewing Ryan Zook the other day, and for whatever people might want to be critical about his stint at Florida, he has been everywhere, college, NFL. He's at Maryland right now, helping them be great at special teams. And one of the questions we asked his commentary on, which I'm fascinated by, and you're uniquely qualified to have an opinion on this, Roman, with now going to 9 games, it was already a gauntlet with 8 SEC games. As fans, we're going to love it. It's going to start feeling like the NFL every single week is a tough game, right? But talk about roster management and the challenge already of having depth. If you look 3 deep at the important positions where injuries are pretty, you have to expect them. How do you manage rosters now when you've got a 9 SEC game schedule and you've got kids that if they're not playing year one, they're eyeballing the portal? What would you do if you were an SEC coach to deal with all of that?
Well, I'm gonna make sure everybody's ready to go. And make sure I'm communicating that at some point we're probably going to need everybody. We got to make this long journey that is the season. And we're probably saying, and not everybody's going to make it. That's just part of it. And the honest part of it, because injuries happen 100% of the time. It's just how severe. And so that would be my first thing with talking about roster management. But look, I'm excited for the 9 games. As long as I want to see the 3 annual games or what they're calling it, but the ones that are going to be locked in every single time. But the SEC did make it. I mean, they took all the power away from the Big Ten. This is just big boy moves right here. This is way bigger than just the conference. That was the one thing that the Big Ten kept hanging over the top of the SEC all offseason. You've heard it from their coaches to their commissioner. And the SEC said, okay, I'm going to take that power from you and I'll raise you. Because not only are they going to play 9 conference games, but they're also saying we're all going to play one out-of-conference Power 4 team as well, or Notre Dame every year too. So that's 10. So we're not going to take the Indiana Hoosiers route like you guys did and think I'm just going to sneak in because I play a weaker schedule one year and I just handle my business. And now I'm supposed to be like, oh, I'm good because I won my games. That just won't matter anymore. The SEC really put their foot out there and said, no, I'm willing to take the chance of having a 3-loss team with a harder schedule, and we'll get in.
Who does Bama keep?
Would
Auburn, Tennessee. You figure they keep LSU permanent?
I don't know if it'll be LSU. I almost think that's a little much.
That's asking a lot.
Yeah, that's asking a lot. Because those are traditionals. I think you have to try and mix it up a little bit more than that. In all honesty, I think LSU has to. I think they should give Alabama another annual besides LSU. LSU and Alabama, it just wasn't the rivalry until Nick Saban left to go to Miami, then came to Alabama. Then that's when all the emotions came. Like when I was playing LSU, it was just LSU versus Alabama. It wasn't all this other emotional things. And then those 2 programs have been so great because of what Nick was helped to do and help build both of the programs. But I don't know if that is exactly what both of they want, but the games have been dynamic because of both of those. And I also think LSU's got to have theirs as well. LSU, Florida. Sure. Who else is their other one? Is it LSU? A&M, exactly. So who is that one for them as well?
Who do you think, Duff?
Really, I'd hate to lose Alabama. Like Roman said, it's been blood sport ever since Nick Saban went there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, I love all my other SEC rivalries. Brother, it's on when Alabama comes to town. And when we go to Tuscaloosa, I don't care what's going on. And I've had no other games of the centuries than with them in Crimson. So yeah. I hate to lose it. I really would. There's just something about that LSU-Alabama rivalry that, man, I'm telling you what, it's blood sport.
Y'all don't like each other, do you?
No, we don't. And
but
look,
you like Roman.
I love Roman, but Roman's a saint, brother. Roman got me a Super Bowl.
He gets a hall pass.
I totally get the hall pass every time I go to Baton Rouge. Just like, we hate Alabama, but we love Roman. Yeah, we love Roman.
Roman, grab yourself some gumbo, Roman, but nobody else is coming in this tailgate.
There we go. It's true. It's very true. I deal with it every time I go down to Baton Rouge. It's hilarious because everybody's like, Roman, they love you. I'm like, yes, the Saints thing, but like they hate Alabama.
Roman, that's a nice.
He's not wrong though. He's not wrong about LSU and Alabama. I don't really want to miss that rivalry. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. If they keep LSU and Alabama, I'm not mad, but it will be okay. You got 3 bangers every single year.
Yeah. You get them every 4 years, everybody, regardless.
Right.
That's the beauty of the 9 game. We're not going to lose these big rivalry games. People can debate over what's supposed to be the 3rd permanent game, but we're protecting the most important ones. I chuckle at Vandy, Tennessee as a rivalry game. Maybe Pavia will have something to say about it.
Within the state,
it's
funny, but it's exactly what we just talked about. Alabama hates LSU way less than LSU hates Alabama. Okay. All right. And Vandy hates Tennessee way less than Tennessee hates Vandy.
Wow.
And like you have those things within the state or within these rivalries that happen. Like Alabama hates Tennessee probably way more than they hate Auburn.
I hate Florida State.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and you get it. Look,
With all of my existence in the world, my two favorite teams are
living in
Gators
Memphis,
and whoever's playing Florida State.
A lot of my family went to Vanderbilt, and they hate it. I mean, and you get in the mid-state, Nashville, it's really nasty. And I tell you what, Roman, I loved it last year when you were talking about Vanderbilt. You make people get out of their comfort zone, and I think a conference, by the way, is as strong as it is because of the relationships. Like on the trading floor at Morgan Keegan, Duncan Williams, where I've worked over the years. Our head trader, Adam Tooley, Florida Gator. Duncan Williams, one of the biggest Alabama supporters in America, on the board of the School of Commerce down there. It is fun. But, man, if Auburn beats Alabama, I come in Monday morning, Duncan's got a card. Hey, man, you got us. And, D, he just signs a D. But that's what makes it so much fun. And I'm so fired up. We had Rich Clark, the executive director of the CFP, on yesterday. He is one – you've met him, and, that's one of the. He's a lieutenant general, retired. He retired last year, superintendent of the Air Force Academy. We asked about the new metric, about strength of schedule, and how are you going to apply that to this year? They're not going to punish LSU if they lose at Clemson, but they will punish you if you lose like Notre Dame did to Northern Illinois last year. Would you expand on that?
That'd be very interesting. The thing is I just want the committee to be consistent. It seems like year one, the criteria felt like they put more marbles into one bag than the other. Then last year, you think like, okay, well, this is what they're judging off of. Well, last year felt different than the year before. You're like, well, why is this one this year? This metric seems more important than this metric, and so we're still looking for the consistency. Like, I'm still in a place, Rob, where I don't believe if you lose 3 games, you still can say like, oh, I think we're going to get in, because they told us last year you couldn't.
Yeah. And
now they're saying, well, we're going to use more strength of schedule, so maybe it is. But it's outside factors, where the ACC had an undefeated player in team in SMU, and they didn't want the first year to be, well, you go to a conference championship, you lose it, and you don't get in. They didn't want that to be the precedent that was set in the first year. So there's a couple other factors in there, but still, it's just you don't know, because it seems like the target is always moving constantly.
Sure.
And each season kind of takes on its own personality and its own enigma and problems within it.
That's a
It
great
really
take.
helped out the Buckeyes, didn't they, to have lost their season finale? They really helped the Buckeyes.
Yeah. I think the bottom line is football starts tomorrow in Dublin, Kansas State, and Iowa State. I think there's like 5 games. And I'm thinking about, just this season, the portal and NIL talk, that's not what we're hearing about. You played pro football, Roman. You know what it's like. It's like, we're all getting a paycheck, but if we don't work our asses off, we won't be getting that paycheck next year. It's getting like that in college.
No guarantees.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's kind of accepted that, and they're moving on. You got to understand, everything in college football right now in this space is very transactional. And if you listen to people that are really in it, like in the streets with it, where, the biggest difference is the lack of professionalism in the college space, and the lack of, they want to be treated like pros, but there's so much lack of professionalism within the players, and also everything that they have around them, surrounding them, right? Whether it's whoever's their representatives are, they're not always pros, right? That could just be a friend of whatever. In the NFL, you have to be NFL certified. You have to have a license, certification to be an agent and a representative. Period.
Yeah, your uncle can't do it.
You can't do it unless he goes and takes the classes and passes. You gotta go through some things. The professionalism, like we're talking about. Agent fees maxed out at 3%. In college, it's like whatever they can agree to. And a lot of these kids are getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, they are.
And and also the lack of professionalism and transparency, where people are trying to make backdoor deals, and the money's funny. It ain't real. People are just telling people things to just get them to do these bad decisions, and these people don't know any better. You know, a couple years ago, I had Greg Sankey on the desk during the SEC Media Days, and I asked him I wouldn't say a softball question. It was kind of a hardball question. You know, everybody was talking about NIL and how we're feeling about this, and everybody's just kind of kumbayaing it with Greg over there, and he's our commissioner, so we will make him look good, and that's fine, that's cool. But I got him on the desk, so I'm like, hold on, bro. So I'm like, all right, well, yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. I'm sitting over here, and everybody's just, going Greg all wild, and I'm just like, dude, yeah, I was not feeling it, and so I just like, you know what, Greg, and I'll be honest, he did an outstanding job. At the time, I didn't realize it, but he was 1,000% correct, actually. And that's why I love Greg Sankey, because he was so candid with me. I said, Greg, I hear you talk about all these things and what you're trying to do to help us and this, that, and the other. And I said, but, maybe using Congress. And I said, well, when you say all these things, you got to understand somebody who comes from my background, who looks like me, who's actually been told a lot of times from people that look like you or older white males that tell us what we can and can't make, how it comes across as, so you're saying these things, but how is it received?
Yeah.
And so how do we get to that point where you saying these things, you're doing these things, and I'm actually receiving it in the right manner, right? Because that's real, true communication. And he said, Roman, actually, I appreciate that question. I love that question. And actually, you could be a little bit more candid about it and tell it even more truthful. Like the old white guys telling the young black athletes what they can and can't do, how it feels and comes across. I agree with you 1,000%. But it's not even as much as just the color aspect of it. He said it's all about the representation and protecting the players in that manner. Those that do not have the people around them that have the capabilities to be able to diagnose a real contract, feed out and sift through all the dummy-dums that ain't here for the right reasons, to be able to help you be able to know a lawyer, to be able to draw up a good contract, to be able to benefit the players long-term, not just short-term. All those little aspects of being a team, being a constant pro, like those are the ones that are going to be successful in this era, because those are the ones that are going to be taken care of and have the people around them and the team around them to let them be successful, AKA Arch Manning, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's not rushing to anything. He's not doing, and everything's just going to be fine. So, those are the ones that have benefit. That's what Sankey talked about, that we're looking out for those people, the ones that will be taken advantage of, and the ones that nobody sees but signs a bad deal. Those are the ones that we need to look after, not just this or that community.
It's like when Chris Carter goes and talks to the young NFL players in a room. It's a different message than when a Tagliabue or somebody goes in there and talks about it. It's a different deal. And these college kids need that. And look, I hope somebody's better be telling them about how to pay taxes and how to manage this money, because without that, these kids are going to get in trouble, Roman. And then they might be past their playing days, and they get a tax bill from the IRS 3 years from now, and nobody's around to help them. That's exactly what needs to happen. It needs to be done now, when these kids are in a position to make these decisions and not get taken advantage from by people that can take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or go to Arkansas, where they said NIL is tax-free. I'm just saying.
They said that? Oh, my goodness. You got to be kidding me.
The state of Arkansas did that. No. The state of Arkansas did that.
Well, you know what?
State tax.
Well, it might be state tax,
law,
but the feds are going to be coming looking for their 35%. You can bet that.
You're probably correct about that.
You know what? I was just going to circle back to the 9, going to 9. Even if we were not going to 9 SEC games, you look at the playoff selection last year, and I've got, I don't care if you say Roll Tide, Roman. I think Alabama had an argument to be in. It was kind of unfortunate that their ugliest loss was late season at Norman, but South Carolina had an argument, Ole Miss argument, and it's something is counterintuitive that the Big Ten had more playoff berths than the SEC. And
Crazy.
we had help me, Rob, Mike Griffith.
Mike Griffith from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution last Friday.
He's a high IQ guy with all this stuff. And he made a great point. The committee members were asked, or maybe the chair of it, do you consider in your proceedings, would this team, do we believe they would beat the other team that we're matching them up with? And he said, no, we don't even look at that. Now, I'm not advocating using the Vegas spread to make your playoff selections, but you shouldn't ignore that consideration. And I'm sorry, but I put any of those 3-9-3 SEC teams up against a couple of those Big Ten
Alabama
selections.
would have beat the bubble snot out of Indiana. Would have killed them.
Yeah, that's my point.
Well,
so how is that going to get balanced out with the committee power?
That's exactly what I was talking about. The target has moved each year. And so this is why I love working on the SEC network, and I get to do a show with Matt Stinchcomb, who comes in once they start releasing the playoff schedule and just obliterates the committee every week. Because he's just like, the committee puts one team pretty high and it props up everything else, right?
Yeah.
It's the house of cards. Like he loves it. It's this team this year. It's a UCLA or he calls them the prop team, where like because each team beat this one and they put them this way in a certain level, they prop up everybody else's like everything else. And so look, last year was very unique. And the thing I would tell every SEC team and fan is like, the best thing about football that I love is that at the end of the day, ball don't lie. And when if you just go handle your business will take care of you.
Yep.
And so that is the truth of it. Ole Miss can't lose to Kentucky, who had no heartbeat, no pulse last year. Yeah. Can't do it. You just can't have that loss. Like for whatever reason.
At home.
You just can't do it. I think that was Kentucky's like only SEC win. Like you just can't do it.
Or at least you've got to redeem yourself when you go to Gainesville, which wasn't easy.
Or Baton Rouge.
Something. You just can't do it. You were beating LSU the whole game until literally the last play.
Yeah.
And you know what's got to sting? He earned it. Lane Kiffin had the number one defense in the country last year?
They did.
Some of the metrics. And if you give Lane Kiffin, an offensive guru that he is, that kind of defense, and you can't close the deal, it's kind of unforgivable.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate. South Carolina was playing really well, but they lost to Alabama, so they're technically in the poll. If you can't say head-to-head matters, it's one of our criteria, and then all of a sudden jump them because Alabama lost later than South Carolina did, but they still have the same amount of losses. And so that was the thing that kind of held back South Carolina, even though they were one of the hottest teams in the country. And then, of course, Alabama, you can't lose to Oklahoma, and where Oklahoma hadn't been able to score versus anybody, was playing with walk-on wide receivers, and you let them run the ball down the field in the first half, and then you turn it over.
Yeah.
And look, I even talked to Kane Womack personally, and I brought up the Oklahoma game. He's like, we played decent, outside of allowing the quarterback runs early, and just, it's a frustrating thing when our offense is a certain way. And I'm just like, Coach, like, bro, you're 1,000% right. But I'm telling you, everybody outside this building, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, and he knows it too. He's like, yeah, I know, right? It's like, yeah, dude, outside this building, nobody cares. Like, they only see what they see. And so what do you do about it? As a defense, you got to go and score. Like, it's all a mentality. You control what you control. You got to get your guys going where, bro, if offense struggling, we got to go win this game for ourselves because our season is on the line. Yep. We win and we lose as a team. It doesn't matter. So it was funny. But, yeah, I remember sharing that moment with Kane and just like, yeah, dude, I get it. I saw the tape. But guess what? Outside this building, nobody cares.
Hey, I was talking to Matt.
Sixes are devastating, aren't they, Roman?
Yeah. Devastating. You lose that game if you throw one like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Hey, I met Matt Stinchcomb at Media Days, talking to him
Uh-huh.
and his daughter, who enrolled at Auburn last week. Matt, I've got a new nickname. I call you the truth broker because that's what you are. You just tell it like it is. Matt Stinchcomb is the Punisher, because when he gets on TV, he just destroys all that stuff. I mean, put a robe on that guy and swear people in before they talk to him. He is a lethal weapon, because that's a nickname that we gave from this guy that the wholesalers used to be kind and take us out to play golf and a nice steak dinner at Folks Folly. Well, the Punisher was we loved this guy, but he'd go in there and buy 2 or 3 golf shirts and a bottle of cognac and brandy and put it on the. So
Ruin
he got
it for everybody.
and then he would order a steak and lobster to take home to his wife.
Wait. His name was the Punisher. He wore a robe. He had brandy, and he was on TV.
No,
okay,
no,
I
I'm
just
just
wanted
saying,
to get all the facts correct.
I'm just that was one of my coworkers, but
He ruined it.
Matt Stinchcomb should wear
for everybody.
Yeah,
He
but
ruined
Matt,
it for everybody.
He did, and they started taking us to like chain restaurants after that.
Yeah, we're not going to the nice one, dude.
But you and
Red
Matt
Lobster for you, buddy.
Well, yeah. What they ought to, by the way, my 90-year-old mother, I picked her up 4 lobster rolls yesterday and a cup of lobster bisque from Captain D's, man. She goes, I love it with my Smirnoff vodka. I'm 90 and I'll do what I want. But Roman, the cool thing is what everybody's saying on here, financial literacy is key. And I tell you what, if Frank and I and Doug would help you if you ever said, let's get together in Atlanta or anywhere to talk about it. Because my wife and your foundation, what you're doing, that's the kind of stuff you give back way more. I don't think people realize what you do. So thank you. And I'm glad you brought it up. Nobody else has I'm not going to say spine, but nobody else has the balls to say that to commissioners. I'm glad you did. And that's smart. And that's why you're the truth broker. But everybody take back over. This is great.
No, appreciate that, Rob. My head producer was just like, hey, that was an excellent question. I guess because nobody, and I just, it wasn't a softball. It was something that I was feeling emotionally. I needed to say, and I said it. And Sankey did a great job of answering it. He just didn't shy away. And at the time, I was like, okay, we'll see. And I'm telling you right now, he was 1,000% correct, because that's what I see from the outside because of the lack of transparency, the lack of financial education. It also is a lot of these parents who are around these kids haven't been in this situation before. And so if this is your first time in the situation, those are the ones that are actually losing out right now versus people that have been in the corners or have been in some of these things. Those are the ones that are really winning right now.
Yeah.
Roman, I'm shocked your producer didn't come up with a new segment called Wait Up, Bro. That would be the name of a great segment. Wait up, bro. Hang on.
Hold on.
Maybe I'll bring that up. Whenever we start doing, maybe I'll bring that up.
I think what a lot of people, I'll admit, and I think it's because I've had the privilege of speaking to Sankey a couple of times, and he's got that New York edge to him because that's his roots. But and he's a gentleman, he's classy, but he does not pull punches. And he's not shy about putting you in your place if you misspeak. But I think some of the people here in the South, how genteel we try to be. Some people it takes a minute to. Sankey is an acquired taste as a gentleman, but man, he has made some brilliant chess moves. Yeah. I was going to say about Stinchcomb. He's turned out great. I love these O linemen that were 320 when they played and they slimmed down and look all GQ, but Stinch, I bet he was that angry lead blocking on a toss sweep too, if I remember, wasn't he, Roman?
I'm pretty sure he was. Stinch is awesome. I love working with him. You want me to tell you why I love working with him? Because he literally can play off of me and I can play off of him. He allows me to just kind of be my funny self. I think he's absolutely hilarious. He can mimic 20 different coaches from the SEC of the past, and he is so funny, and he can either talk for 2 minutes and filibuster, or he can talk for 10 seconds and still be able to do whatever it is. So it's if I go long, he can give me 5 seconds and still be good. Or he can go long, and then I'm like, dude, just let him eat. Just let the dog eat right now, because this is his time to shine. and I need to just say like 5 seconds and then get out the way because he's about to rip the playoff committee a new one. And I just love working with. It's so funny.
I
do have a question though. I do have a question though, and that's Rob. So what's up with your Auburn guys? Like where do we come up with these new national championships?
Yeah, I want to talk about 1958. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's Billy Cannon, bro. That's Billy Cannon. Like LSU is not cool about that, bro. What's going on?
Roman,
and as an Alabama guy, I don't want to punch down. I feel like I'm punching down. I don't want to answer this.
Duff, you got to calm down. You're going to have an aneurysm.
Hang on. I'm 11-0, and I beat Clemson in the Sugar Bowl, and y'all got the Montgomery newspaper giving y'all one.
Yeah,
y'all
hey,
number
Roman,
4?
we're taking a page from the genius of the Crimson Tide, Roman. 1941, brother, finished 20th, got shut out by Mississippi State and Vandy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with you, right? So that's why I can't say much, but we've been doing it so long, it's just kind of cooked into the equation. You guys just pick a random off season and like, you know what?
You had to get the baseline set. We're not going to play that game again. Now, Duffy, I will give you back 58. I don't like
you got to give me 58. That's wrong, wrong.
Auburn lost to Georgia Tech 6-3 in 58.
But I want 1988, Duff. Y'all caused an
the earthquake game.
To win that game.
But you know what's funny is the national championships. That's what makes college football what it is. It's so messy and controversial. We talk about it year round. And I've done the research on this. Every team going back to November 6th, 1869, Rutgers 6, Princeton 4 in 8 extra innings. It was like a rugby scrum. On average, about 4 teams up until recently would lay claim to a national championship. And so Wayne Atchison, the sports information director, the summer of 1984, you can talk about Saban's success, but the summer of 1984, Alabama went from 6 to 11 championships. They could claim 27. They've got the greatest history in all of college football. I'm being completely transparent.
Two wrongs do not make a right. Two wrongs do not make a right.
Yes, they do. In football, they do. Here's what we're saying. What we're saying without saying it is, I'm going to see if I can be fair. But Auburn uniquely, everybody wants us to be saintly and held to a higher standard, and it amounts to a damn double standard with some seasons. You can debate 58. It's embarrassing to add 58, but I think that the issue is there are a lot of years over the decades prior to about 2014 when the BCS became at least the best we have. When you can call it mythical, how the heck Miami leapfrogs that Auburn 83 team with the schedule they played is absurd.
Yeah, that was bullshit. I agree with you.
It was because NBC, Auburn was third, Nebraska lost, and you get leapfrogged by number 5. But it's marketing and it's mythical. But there are certain seasons that if a fan is fair, it's indisputable. I don't care what year it was, when a team runs the table undefeated in the SEC and people can hardly score on them, and they play a tough schedule, then we should all shut up and call them the champion and not have split. But back when you had AP and UP, y'all remember, you would have split championships. Yeah. And, most of us didn't dispute. You got writers, regional bias and all that stuff that creeps in. So it's to a degree some years mythical. And you know what? The fact that Ohio State just won it, some people will claim that as mythical to a degree in the fact that they got so many breaks despite not winning their conference championship, losing the finale to Michigan, but they got in the game, and so they get to count it. I don't blame them.
You know what is crazy? I'll tell you what's crazy. I'm having to defend my 1958 undefeated national championship. I got to defend from USC a 2003 Nick Saban national champion. But yet nobody's coming after my 2007 2-loss LSU national championship. That's the craziest shit going. Yeah, I got 2 legitimate national championships, and I got one with 2 losses that nobody wants to claim any of that.
If I'm worried about your cardio health, I want to help you here. Auburn is not taking your 58 title from you. We just want to share it.
We want to share it.
No.
All right, Roman, let me ask you this. Matt Stinscombe said he's going to come on the show, and hopefully next Friday. We're working on getting him on. And I talked to Benjamin Watson. That's a serious dude. You know,
I
Ben,
love Ben.
Yeah, and by the way, I sent you a picture of a bobblehead that I got. My friend Michael Jordan from his Tennessee Titans season ticket. And it's of Chris Johnson, the running back. By the way, did you ever tackle Chris?
I did, but I got him down before he got to full speed.
How good? I mean, that guy was unbelievable. 2,000 yards. But look, this is Roman. Man, I know you may have to go, but having you on here is so much fun, and for sharing your time with us. I know you got to get going with the kids and all, but give us some closing comments, and let's do this again soon. But tell people about your foundation, please, before you go, because I want people to support you, and I want to talk to you this weekend if you got some time. Frank and Doug and I will help you on the financial literacy part, because I totally understand where you're coming from. My wife, Audrey, wants to talk to you about it as well.
Okay, man. Yeah. Thank you guys as always. It's Harper's Hope for One Foundation. We do a reading program. We also do a lot of big Christmas drives in Alabama and here in Charlotte. And yeah, man, I'm always just trying to give back, dude. It's been something I've been passionate about since 2008, 2009. I started my mom, maybe 2010. And so, yeah, we still keep it going. We still do all that. And look, man, I appreciate you always for having me on and being supportive. And you guys can look out, donate, whatever. And I just appreciate it. You know, I don't do it for myself or to like pub it up or anything like that. It's just, I felt like what I was called to do. So I would continue to do that. And let's brainstorm on that financial literacy stuff, because most of these colleges and schools are supposed to be teaching them about these things. And they do talk about taxes, and they do talk about all these other things. At least I know they do at the University of Alabama. So because it has to, like it's part of the deal. And it's just interesting because we call them student athletes, and man, I don't see how I pay a kid $100,000 and then hopefully he passes psychology. I'm like, bro, you know, but whatever though, that's a different conversation.
The truth broker said it.
Hey, Roman, quickly, I'm gonna cheat and get one more question. And I know you Bama fans.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about the degree to which, with this loaded Alabama team, at least on paper, they sure look loaded to me. And it's gonna, like so many of the SEC, all about QB. How much pressure does DeBoer feel? It's only year 2, but he is following you know who. What do they have to do this year?
I think they definitely need to make a playoff run. I think that would take a lot of pressure off. Playoff run, that checks all the boxes right there. And then what happens after that is just progress. But they definitely need to get into the playoffs this year. That's the expectations of Alabama. They need to look and feel different. They need to be better on the road this year in road games, where last year they really struggled. And they also have to stop the ebbs and flows, right? You can't beat Georgia, lose to Vandy. You lose to Tennessee on the road. Nobody was really mad about that, and they didn't play well. But overall, that's a game like you can exceed them losing in the first year of DeBoer. But you can't go beat LSU 28 to whatever and then lose to Oklahoma the next week on the road. You just got to be better in those situations. I think everybody, I think they will be. I don't know how loaded this roster is, but they have less questions about a lot of things than other teams do. As far as, Grubb coming in on offense, DeBoer second year, you're a little bit further away from what Nick Saban had in his regime. The offensive line is really steady, few years, 2 or 3 year starters on the front. Defense, you're in your second year defensively. And I tell everybody, I loved playing in multiple years in a defensive system, not because I learned the playbook more. Like I already had the playbook. I'm a smart guy. I picked that up. That's easy. But in the second year, I knew what I could and couldn't get away with. Like I knew what I could cheat and show. I knew what teams were trying to attack when we called certain plays, or in this situation, what were we getting most times, or what are we allowing them, the offense, to have? And then we'll take away this. And so those are the little intricate details you learn by being in a system multiple years. And so defensively, they should be better. Same thing I said with LSU under Blake Baker in a year 2. Like they should be better defensively. But LSU still has to be able to protect this quarterback. But I expect – I got Alabama in the SEC championship game. I don't know. I got them versus Texas. I don't know. I haven't picked the winner yet, but – I got Alabama and Texas in the SEC championship game.
Well, that was a big truck or something just rode over something. Maybe that was the Big Ten.
I thought that was Frank's sound effects. You heard Alabama in the SEC championship. Frank and Doug were pressing buttons.
Oh, yeah, we got Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford.
Brad, great seeing you again. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I got to go get ready to go work out.
See you, Rob.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you guys. Be good, man. Appreciate it as always, man. Thanks for having me.
All right,
brother.
Love it. Brad, hopefully next Friday we're going to have the Punisher on here. That's what I call Matt Stinchcomb. He does I would love to get Matt Stinchcomb and Roman with Petiti, the commissioner of the Big Ten. I think that would be a lot of fun because I don't think Indiana beat a single ranked team last year. And Brad, my wife and I were listening to a song, Just Let Your Love Flow, the Bellamy Brothers. Are you related to the Bellamy Brothers by any chance?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not. I have famous Bellamys in my lineage, but the Bellamy brothers are not part of it. I can't remember if I've shared on the show or not, but my great-great-grandfather wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. So that's my famous Bellamy.
Really?
Wow.
God.
That's pretty cool.
Whoa. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have the original manuscript?
So do not have the original manuscript, but I do have the desk that the pledge was written on in my house.
That's pretty freaking cool.
So
That's awesome.
when my grandfather passed away, my dad said, "Hey, I'm going to die most likely before you, and so instead of moving this thing twice, let's just move it once." And so he shipped it to me. So
pretty cool.
Really cool history about it. He wrote it in 1892 for the 400th anniversary of Columbus Day. They wanted to have something that the school children could recite across the country. Now, part of it was he was also trying to sell magazines for a company called the Youth Companion, which was very similar to Boys Life back then.
Yeah.
But wrote it in Boston, Massachusetts. And, the original pledge has been changed twice. The original had "To My Flag." And in 1924, there have been so many immigrant school children moving into the United States that the president really wanted the kids to make sure they're pledge allegiance to the United States of America, not to my German flag or my Italian flag or Irish flag. So
that's awesome.
They added that. And then Eisenhower in the 50s wanted the nation to get more centered under God. So added "In God We Trust" to our money, and also added "Under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance. So
outstanding.
Brad, speaking as a singer, I have a bone to pick with your great grandfather. That high note at the very end, "The Land of the Free," you better be good, and you got to start at a low enough key that you got room for that high note at the end.
It's the Pledge of Allegiance, not the national anthem.
My bad. I'm sorry. My mistake.
Wrote the Star Spangled Banner, and you can probably blame the Brits for that tune since we stole that from them. But yeah, and one of the crazy things about it was, I'd learned history from the time I was really young about this, and so I've said the pledge at different things. My uncle actually said the pledge at the Republican National Convention in the 50s, and I have an inauguration invitation when Eisenhower got elected in my house.
Wow.
They were invited to because he said the pledge. But one of the things, so I had some dealers I used to work with fact check me, and they're like, "Hey, this is true. Like, we didn't believe you, but then we Wikipedia'd it." Well, it turns out, and this is something I did not know, but originally you did not put your hand over your chest. There was actually, and you can research this, it was called the Bellamy salute, and you actually pointed your right arm at the flag. Well, in the 1930s,
that's a little problematic.
I don't think so. Oh my God!
Made that more prominent. And so, but if you Wikipedia Bellamy salute, you'll see a bunch of school children pointing at the flag with 3 fingers.
Woo!
That's funny.
Moving right along.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Tell us what's going on there at Poplar and Houston Levy at Landers Ford.
Man, we're selling a bunch of cars, man. So we are currently number 1 in the entire Memphis region at Explorer sales. We are number 2 in Expedition sales. We are number 4 nationally in Expedition sales currently. So we're selling a bunch of Expeditions and Explorers here at Landers Ford. We had the golf tournament 2 weeks ago, and so we got those back last Monday. we had the best weekend last weekend that we've had since pre-COVID. So, we got them stacked up and we're selling them out. We knew it was going to be a good weekend for us. We knew it was going to be a good tournament for us because these brand new Expeditions and Explorers are amazing vehicles. They drive great. Blue Cruise is one of the coolest features that Ford has launched out. One of the things I personally love about it is because I'm having to sit at soccer practice and wait for my son to get done with soccer. They now have it set up in the vehicle to where when you're sitting stationary, you can actually watch YouTube or, Peacock or Amazon Prime right there on your screen. So instead of me staring at my phone, I can actually watch something on my screen. So when I'm sitting there for an hour and a half, it gives me something to pass the time a little bit better. So come out, check them out. We got great programs on F-150, lease deals on all the Lightnings and Mach-E's. And, man, we've had a great run of momentum here as a result of just what the inventory we have in the golf tournament and the pricing we got. We got X-Plan pricing on all of our Explorers and Expeditions that were part of the golf tournament.
Well, you should. You're some of the best people, and you support so many great things in the Mid-South. No matter where you are, LandersFordMemphis.com. Ask for Brad Bellamy and start the conversation. Doug, Frank, football, Brad loves football. Let's wax eloquent here in the closing stretch.
Well, before we get started, I do have to let y'all know, I just got a text on my LSU text change. The University of Kansas is trying to claim our 2019 title because former coach Les Miles had a lot of his players that he recruited on that team. So now we've got Auburn's gone after our.
I have no problem with that.
Auburn has gone after our 58 championship. Kansas is now coming after our 2019 championship.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk, man.
Hey, Frank. Everybody's mad at Auburn for following the same methodology as half of these programs.
But that's the thing that we all had in common. We could laugh at Alabama for their Betty Crocker 1942 national championship or the 1921.
I wouldn't go after Alabama. They've earned it.
Harper's bizarre, four-way national championship. That's the one thing we had.
Yeah, but when you win 15 legit, you can get away with a couple of questionable ones.
Frank, it was the UPI and the FBI and the OPP and the CNN. So they won all those awards.
That was the Elks. The AMP and the WPA.
I have a simple proposition, guys. Can we at least agree? There's a bunch of seasons that can be debated prior to 2014, but now, warts and all, we have to accept unequivocally whoever wins the 12-team playoff.
Absolutely.
Fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all
it's
you
on
can
the
do.
field. If you ain't picking up hardware,
right,
you didn't win it.
So so the season starts tomorrow. Who is y'all's national championship game?
Tony Barnhart said Monday night at the Touchdown Club, Texas, Georgia.
Tony Barnhart had Florida State in the playoff last year. Let's move past that.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I've got Georgia playing for the national championship.
Yeah, they got
but I don't have Texas. I don't have Texas being in there. And the only other team that I'm getting inclined to say Clemson, Georgia for a national championship.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't trust Dabo. I just don't trust Dabo to get to 10 wins regular season. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and they start.
We'll know a lot on the 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, Rob, I like the age of Clemson. I like the experience of Clemson as well. Can they win 3 in a row to get there, or 2 in a row to get there? That's a great question. But I like Clemson as well. I'm probably way overhyping experience right now at this point over talent, but I'll put Clemson in there too.
I'm gonna be contrarian as heck and therefore be wrong, surely. But I'm gonna do something like Texas and Miami. I like Cristobal, and I would also say I'm not saying I think both of those might have to not get a bye. Like make the playoff, but get hot at the right time, and somebody else get upset. I don't trust Georgia. I was close, Brad. I swear I was close to picking Alabama to be in the national championship game. I really think they're loaded, but I just need to see Simpson play a couple of games.
Yeah.
Who do y'all see coming out of the Big Ten?
Penn State's the
Oregon.
best team up there.
Oregon.
Yeah.
No.
Not Penn State.
Yeah.
I would bet everything that James Franklin continues to lose the games that he's supposed to lose. I mean, they're number 2 right now, so they shouldn't really lose any games this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have not seen him ever be able to be effective at beating the teams. He beats everybody he's supposed to beat. Last year, they didn't beat anybody and made the playoff.
Yeah.
And they then got a cake, with Boise State. So I'm going to say that it will not be Penn State.
I was going to say Penn State would be the leader, but again, James Franklin against top 5, 10 competition, not a good record.
No love for Notre Dame, I see.
Yeah, I do love Notre Dame, but I think Oregon. I think Dante Moore, who transferred from UCLA, sat behind Dylan Gabriel last year at Oregon. Matt Dean, who's on our show on Thursday, his son Tyler's on his 4th year on the staff with Dan Lanning. Knows that program pretty well. Not, saying anything that's OPSEC, but I think Dante Moore is a really good quarterback, and Oregon has figured it out on the line of scrimmage. I'm with you. James Franklin's a good guy. I mean, I'm not saying that, but you got to win those top 5, top 10 matchups. And Illinois, Brett Bielema, guys, I know they're not the most exciting program, but they won 10 games last year. But by the way, did Indiana beat a single ranked team last year?
No.
I don't think so.
And they made the playoff. And Alabama did not. Alabama beat Georgia. I just, in case people – that's what's great about college football.
Bama,
by the way,
Ole Miss, and South Carolina, all 3 would have beat Indiana. Bama,
Easily.
South Carolina, and Ole Miss, all 3 of them.
I would argue you had 3 teams last year that made the playoff that really didn't beat anybody to get there. And that's – Penn State had some top 25 wins, but that's against the lower half of the Big Ten. And
Boise.
And, and SMU. SMU didn't beat anybody either.
Yeah.
So, really it came down to the SMU-BYU game. But I don't think, I think you had 4 teams last year that just had a very easy schedule that made it to where they could make the playoff without beating anybody significant. And the fact that Penn State got a higher seed than Ohio State was ridiculous to me.
Dillingham was within a whisker, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. And they might be better this year. Arizona State, watch out for the Wildcats. They're going to be good.
Some might argue Tennessee should have been hosting Ohio State.
Yeah.
The 4th team in the Big Ten.
BS.
Yeah, that was total, not BCS, but total BS.
Yeah, that's a total. That could be a different game.
Or Big Ten bias.
In Rocket Top. Yeah.
Well, no one wants to talk about what Frank is going to love this 9-time national champion Auburn might do this year.
Yeah, it's been a great summer.
I'll take 9 wins right now.
I'm telling you, this has been the most productive offseason Auburn's ever had in their entire history.
It's been the best summer in memory. 7 national championships, but
without playing a game,
you're not claiming them, or you're just recognizing them.
I'm telling you, it's a bad look, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's a bad.
I love it.
Bad.
I love it. Yeah.
Those banners look great in Jordan hair.
It would have been much better had y'all dropped this shit 5 seconds after Cam Newton won the 2010 national championship. I think you would have caught a lot.
I agree.
Less
Jay
shit.
Jacobs was an idiot.
Yeah.
Jay Jacobs,
totally agree. He floated it out for debate years ago. Guys, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you more than you know, everybody, executive producer Brenden Martin, Roman Harper, Brad Bellamy, Landers Ford, all of our great sponsors, Hewlett and Dunn, Rumble Boxing, Lights Out Gummies. We'll be back Monday. Frank, Doug. Most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. Find ways to get out and help people every single day. Just find excuses to win. And Brad, you are our new hero, the Pledge of Allegiance. Love it, man. Have a great weekend,
not the
everybody.
National anthem, the pledge.
Absolutely, the Pledge of Allegiance.
And Brad's smiling like a Cheshire cat because he doesn't have to defend that Betty Crocker national championship bullshit no more. He's happy. I can tell you that right now.
Auburn, funny out there with national championship.
Hey, I'll take it. All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.